Okay, if you run a home care agency, what is the single biggest decision you make day in and day out that can either make you or break you? It's not about marketing, it's not about payroll, it's about who you decide to let in. So today, we're talking about the client assessment. This is your most critical line of defense for protecting your caregivers, your good name, and your entire business. Let's dive in.
Seriously, think about it. Your day is just a whirlwind of activity, right? You're juggling schedules, dealing with staffing headaches, all of it. But out of all those things, which decision carries the most weight? What's the one call that can genuinely put your entire agency at risk?
It's this one. It's saying yes. You know, every time you take on a new client, you're rolling the dice. You're not just adding a new revenue stream, you're bringing a brand new, unknown situation into your world. And the wrong yes, well, that can unleash a whole world of pain. The trick is learning how to see that storm coming before you're in the middle of it.
Look, getting a bad client match isn't just a small headache. It's like a wildfire. It'll tear through your best caregivers, leaving them totally burnt out and looking for the exit. It can spark those terrible one-star reviews online that poison your reputation. And it can even create legal risks that could cost you, well, everything. That's why your front door, that intake process, is your most important defense.
So how do you get that gut feeling? How do you learn to spot trouble before it even has a chance to start? Well, that's exactly what we're going to give you today. It's a 5-point early warning system. Just think of these as tripwires that'll alert you to danger way before it can do any real damage.
All right, let's get right into it. Think of this as a pre-flight checklist for your intake team. Here are the 5 critical red flags to look for. Okay, red flag number 1. And honestly, this should be an automatic deal breaker. If they won't let you do a proper, thorough assessment, you have to walk away. I mean, home care is all built on trust, right? If they're not willing to be open and honest from day one, you got to ask yourself, what are they hiding? It's a huge sign they don't respect the professional process that keeps everybody safe.
And this refusal, it isn't always a flat-out no. Sometimes it's more subtle. It's the family that keeps rescheduling the home visit over and over. Or they give you really vague, fuzzy answers to key health questions. Or, a classic one, the family member who insists on being the gatekeeper, never letting you speak to the client directly. All of these are flashing warning lights.
Red flag number 2, the foggy medical history. If you can't get straight answers about diagnoses, about medications, about what's happened in the past, you're basically sending your caregivers into a minefield blindfolded. There is no way you can provide safe and effective care if you don't actually know what you're dealing with.
You'll see the signs pop up in the little details. You know, when they can't tell you the name of the little blue pill or what the dosage is, or when you get 2 totally different stories from 2 different family members about a recent hospital stay. These aren't minor details. They're giant missing pieces of a puzzle that could have serious consequences.
Now for red flag number 3, just plain impossible expectations. This is when the family seems to think your caregiver is a magician who can reverse a chronic condition, or that they should be available 24/7 at the drop of a hat. This is a recipe for disaster. It doesn't just set your agency up to fail. It sets your caregiver up for constant stress and burnout.
And here's what this looks like in the real world. Constant last-minute calls to change the schedule. Demands for tasks that are way outside the care plan, like asking a caregiver to do deep cleaning or handle finances. These are the little cracks in the foundation that will eventually bring the whole relationship crashing down.
Red flag number 4 is all about protecting your people. It's the unaddressed safety hazards in the home. You have a legal and, frankly, a moral duty to provide a safe place for your caregivers to work. If a family sees an obvious danger and just won't fix it, you are knowingly putting your employee in harm's way. And that is a line you simply cannot cross.
And we're talking about really basic stuff here. Loose rugs on the floor just waiting to cause a fall. Dark hallways with no lighting. Maybe there's an aggressive dog. Or the home lacks essential equipment like a Hoyer lift. If you bring these things up and the family just shrugs it off, they are telling you loud and clear, your caregiver's safety is not their problem, and that makes it a deal breaker.
And finally, our 5th red flag, a history of high caregiver turnover. Think about it. If this client has already burned through multiple caregivers and even other agencies, you have to stop and ask, why would this time be any different? Why do you think you'll be the one to succeed where everyone else has failed?
You just have to listen for the stories. You'll hear it. It's the ones about how every other agency was just incompetent, or how every other caregiver was lazy. When a family has a long history of bad luck with caregivers, it's usually not about luck. It's a huge sign of a deeper problem:
Could be a difficult family, unsafe conditions, or those unrealistic expectations we talked about.
So let's just boil it all down. It's pretty clear, right? On one side, you have your ideal client. They're cooperative, transparent, realistic, and they care about safety. And on the other side, you've got the nightmare client, secretive, demanding, and careless about safety. Your intake process is the compass that has to guide you away from the nightmare and towards the ideal.
You know, this right here is what separates the great agencies from the just average ones. They don't see intake as just a sales pitch where the only goal is to sign someone up. No, they see it as a strategic move. And they understand that sometimes the most powerful and strategic word in their vocabulary is no.
And really, if you only take one thing away from all of this, let it be this quote. Saying no or delaying acceptance is sometimes the best way to protect your agency. This isn't about being afraid or turning away business. It's about being smart. It's about building a stronger, healthier, and way more successful agency for the long haul.
So think of it this way. Your intake process, it shouldn't be a funnel that just catches anything and everything that comes along. It has to be a filter, one that carefully and deliberately screens out the risks, letting only the right fit clients come through. That filter is your absolute best defense against chaos, and it's your best tool for building a business that lasts.
So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. I want you to take a really hard, honest look at your own agency. Is your intake process a true filter, one that protects your team, your culture, and your reputation? Or is it just a funnel, letting in anyone who can write a check? The answer to that question, really, will define the entire future of your business.